I've I've got a particular friend who always keeps making a beeline for my flat, and he wants to drag me out with him, but I don't always feel like going out with him today, especially he stayed in my flat for a short while, and we had a little discussion on a little bit of discussion on a few topics, as we always do. But he wanted to sort of drag him out outside with me, but I didn't feel like going out today. I just feel like a bit of solitude today. Anyway, one of the subjects we got onto was time travel, because I want to be a writer, you see, and it's a thing I do write about. But a lot of people would say that the idea of time travel it was ridiculous, because how can you? The past doesn't exist anymore. You can't travel backward into something that doesn't exist anymore. And it's like, I mean, an old building has been demolished. If an old building has been demolished, you can't visit that building anymore, can you? Because it's gone. And the future hasn't happened yet. It doesn't seem realistic that you could travel into something that hasn't happened yet. And I think personally, I'd agree. Really, I think for those two basic reasons, I'm almost certain that time travel would have it possible. I use the word almost. That's the word I use is almost. I'd say time travel will almost certainly never be possible, for those two simple reasons. I think it's because of the way the universe has been designed by God. I think when God created the universe, He created time as well, and He created time to go forward in one continuous time. Is like one continuous road where the cars are only going along it, or just it's like a one-way street. The cars are only going along it one way. They're only going forward. They're not going forward and in the opposite direction as well. It's just like a one-way street. And if a car tried to, if someone tried to go in the opposite direction along this street, all that would happen is that they get banned from driving. Well, I think time has been constructed in such a way that you can only go in one direction at the same speed as everybody else. There's a speed limit of time. It travels at 1 second per second. You can't travel backward in the opposite direction, and you can't travel forward faster than you can't overtake everybody else. You can't overtake the other traffic because the speed limit has been set. And they say if he travelled into space at speeds closer to the speed of light, it's like this. They call it time dilation. They say if you could travel, you go just off in a spaceship and travel at speeds close to the speed of light, the time. The time that would have elapsed on Earth would be far greater than the time that would have elapsed while you've been in space. So when you came back down to Earth again, you would have travelled through time. But is it possible for humans to even travel at those sorts of speeds? Will we even survive? Could we even survive it? I mean, that's debatable, isn't it? I'd say my take on it personally is that time has been. When God created the universe, He created time, and He created the laws of time as well that can't be disobeyed. I mean, when someone's driving a car, they can disobey the speed limit, but someone the laws of time can't be disobeyed because it's impossible to disobey them, because you can't overtake everybody else and go forward faster than what they do, and you can't go backwards in the opposite direction because the past doesn't exist anymore, and you can't. I don't think it'll ever be possible to travel into something. How can you possibly travel into something that doesn't exist? There's not. I don't think it'll ever be possible. I think there's some things which are impossible. I think when God created the universe, He created time, and time has laws, and those laws can't be disobeyed. And I don't actually disclose on YouTube what religion I am or what religion my family were, but my father came up with this airy fairy theory once. I was writing a story on time travel, and it made me dad think about the possibility of time travel in the future. And it says in the Bible that after the kingdom of God has been established, after Jesus has ruled over the earth for 1,000 years, that Satan will be bound, kept in captivity in an abyss for 1,000 years during the time of Jesus is ruling over us. And after the 1,000 years, according to the book of Revelation, after the 1,000 years is over, Jesus is finally let out of the abyss to tempt mankind to follow him again. That's what it says in the book of Revelation. Well, my dad came up with this sort of airy fairy theory that Satan will be tempting people to travel backward in time into the old system, and these UFOs and flying saucers that have been sighted, he thought they could be time machines from the future. Well, who's to say he's wrong? I mean, the Bible doesn't say for definite what's going to happen in the future. It says God made, but there's a thing about life on other planets. People say life on other planets is anti-scriptural. It says God made the earth to be inhabited. That's what it says in the Bible. Well, they say for that reason the possibility of life on other planets, either now or any time in the future, is anti-scriptural. But when you come to think of it, why did God create such a vast universe? You have to think of that. Is it? No, it's not. It's not an impossibility in my mind that he could have intended or intended us to colonise, to travel to other planets sometime at some point in the future when the Earth has been filled, when the Earth has been fully populated. I don't know. We don't know what's going. You can't rule out what might happen in the future, and I suppose also the possibility of time travel that isn't completely ruled out in my mind either. But I think it's extremely unlikely that you could ever travel backward through time, because it doesn't make, because it's completely illogical. How can you travel backward back again into something that doesn't exist anymore? That's and how can you travel forward into something that doesn't exist yet? It's but then again, It's like I said to my friend, I pointed to my TV set and said, who would have thought that was possible 200 years ago? No one would. Um, in fact, even 100 years ago, because I mean, the television wasn't actually invented until 1928. I mean, there was there were people working on getting them built, but the one who created the one that actually worked was John Logie. It was a Scotsman, James John Logie Baird, and he actually came up with one that worked, but there was other people working on it at, at the time. Somebody had suggested in the 19th century that television could be a possibility. There could be some way it could be achieved, and that's why from that point on, there were people working on it, trying to get it, trying to perfect it, so that it could become possible. But it's not even 100. It's not even 100. I mean, half a century after it was been invented, there was one in almost every home. So we don't. At the end of the day, we don't really. No, I mean, it's no use being sceptical about things. I mean, you get brainy scientists like this Richard Dawkins. He refuses to accept the existence of a god. He's written this book called The God Delusion, and I think the first chapter of it is why they're almost certain there is no god. Well, that's just skepticism, isn't it? Well, he says the reason why he can't be a god is because if he exists, someone would have had to have created him. Well, that doesn't. I mean, that makes no sense whatsoever, because why would a creator have to have been created? I've brought that subject up in my discussions before about why would God need to have been created? He wouldn't have need to have been created because he was a creator. So, but I wouldn't completely rule out the possibility of time travel, but for two basic reasons, it almost certainly but will never exist, because you can't travel back into something that doesn't exist anymore, and you can't go forward into something that doesn't exist yet. I think there's laws built in. I think personally, when God created the universe, he built laws into time that can't be disobeyed. And there's nobody that will ever be able to disobey those laws. It's possible, but there might be an element of truth in what my dad was saying about after the 1,000-year reign of Christ, Satan gets let out of the abyss, and he tempts people to disobey God's law by travelling backward through time into the old system that we're existing in now. But I wouldn't completely dispute the idea, the theory, but it's only a theory as far as I'm concerned. It's just a theory. It's extremely unlikely to be any truth in it, for those two basic reasons that are specified. Anyway, I'll be back soon with more reviews and discussions on various topics.